Okay, let's kick things off. What if you could actually, see the future before it really arrived? I mean, not just guessing or making broad predictions, but genuinely seeing patterns form and understanding when they actually matter. Imagine the edge that gives you.
It sounds almost like science fiction, doesn't it? A
Yeah.
superpower, almost. But today we're going to dig into a really fascinating concept we've seen across several sources. It's something that challenges how we usually think about foresight, about making decisions. People often call it timeline sovereignty.
Timeline sovereignty, exactly. And our mission here in this deep dive is really to give you a shortcut, a way to grasp the core ideas behind this pretty radical approach. We'll look at its principles, how it flips conventional thinking about information overload completely upside down. Seriously, get ready to explore a world where being, a second too late for what matters might actually become a thing of the past for you. So let's start by unpacking this core belief. The idea that you should see your future before it arrives, not after. Now, this isn't about just drowning you in, say, 10,000 different options.
No, that's just noise. Chaos, really.
Right, analysis paralysis. And it's definitely not about oversimplifying things either, like in a condescending way.
Like you can't handle the real picture.
Exactly. So what we're talking about here is something, well, something much rarer, more precise. How does that actually work?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Because to really get timeline sovereignty, it helps to contrast, the old way with this new framework. In the old way, the traditional world, you make a decision, then you see the outcome. And often you learn too late. The dots connect looking backward.
Ah, I should have seen that coming.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Your competition moves, you react, you're always sort of one step behind. Time just happens to you. But in this new world, this framework, you first see patterns emerging. Then you decide. So you're actually shaping the outcomes. The dots connect looking forward.
Foresight, not hindsight.
Precisely. You see what's forming before it's obvious. You make the
Cool.
first move, competition reacts to you. So you're the one setting the pace. Time happens through you. You're navigating it.
That is a really profound shift in perspective. I bet a lot of our listeners feel that reactive pressure day to day. So what's the actual advantage here of knowing what's forming, moving before it's obvious to everyone else?
Well, it demands a much higher standard than just dumping data on you. It's not about showing everything. Imagine like an eye chart with 10,000 tiny letters. That's not helpful. It's just overwhelming.
Right.
The real value, the magic, is revealing what matters precisely when it matters. Think of it like a super intelligent map with zoom levels. It highlights, say, the 3 absolutely critical things today. Those emerge from the 30 things that will likely shape this week,
Okay.
which come from the 300 influencing this month, the 3,000 for this quarter,
Oh.
all drawn from maybe 30,000 possibilities constantly in flux. Each zoom level just shows what's relevant right now at that time scale and how it connects.
Okay, that leads us nicely to the core insight, the thing that really grabs people. The future has a pattern. Most can't see it. We can. You should.
Yeah.
And that really resonates, right? Because anyone who's been an early adopter in any field has felt this. Being right, but way too early. Nobody listens.
Or too late.
Or right, but it's too late and the chance is gone. Or maybe you saw the pattern but didn't trust your gut.
Yeah, or you just knew something was shifting but couldn't pin it down.
So how does actually experiencing this kind of foresight build that loyalty, that conviction you mentioned?
It tends to follow a really specific path, a journey that builds that conviction layer by layer. It often starts with what we call first contact, that kind of aha moment. Wait, you're telling me I can actually see when things are going to become important?
Right, the timing aspect.
Exactly. Then comes the first prediction.
Yeah.
Someone sees a pattern highlighted, watches it play out.
Yeah.
Wow, that call about Tuesday, that was spot on.
Okay, so they see it work once.
Yeah, and that often leads to a first prevention. Using that foresight to stop a problem before it starts. Maybe thinking, I managed to stop that negative drift before it really took hold.
Nice, proactive.
Then comes the first advantage, that moment of, I moved on this before my competition even saw the opportunity.
That must feel good.
Absolutely. And eventually it leads to what we call the conversion, the realization, I can't go back to just reacting anymore. This is fundamentally better.
And when people hit that point, that conversion, they start explaining it in really interesting ways. I've heard things like, it's like having tomorrow's newspaper, but it shows patterns, not just news.
Yeah, emerging trends, trajectories.
Or, my competitors must think I'm psychic. Really, I just have better maps of time.
Yeah, better navigation charts for the future.
So what's actually under the hood here? What creates this depth of prediction, this trust?
It's built on something we call the recursive standard. Think of it as levels of insight, showing the care built in. Level 1 is basic. We predict. But it's not just guessing. It's calculating trajectories based on data.
Okay, computational.
Level 2 goes deeper. We predict when predictions matter. Not just this might happen, but this becomes critical, Thursday, 2 p.m.
Timing again, crucial.
Level 3 is about trust. We predict which predictions you'll trust. System understands you won't just buy everything. It highlights patterns with strong signals, explains why this one's credible.
Interesting, so it helps you filter.
In a way. And level 4 is really fascinating. We predict the moment you'll be ready to see. Timeline sovereignty isn't forced. The key insights surface when your own context and readiness align, so you can actually act on them.
So it adapts to the user's understanding.
You could say that. And finally, level 5. We predict when you'll tell others. That's the tribal moment, right? When you go from user to, well, evangelist, sharing the value.
So the real edge people get, it's not just fuzzy stuff like better decisions or managing complexity.
No, those are outcomes, maybe. The core ability is sharper.
It sounds like it's really about being able to move before patterns become obvious. Can you give us a few concrete examples? What do those advantages look like?
Sure. Think about temporal arbitrage. Let's say you see a subtle market shift forming. Not vaguely soon, but specifically next Tuesday. Temporal arbitrage is acting now, adjusting marketing, maybe supply chains before anyone else even spots the trend. You capture that first mover value.
Okay, acting on timing differences.
Right. Then there's dot connection, seeing relationships others miss, like small regulatory change here and new patents over there, seeing how they combine to create a new market niche before it's obvious.
Connecting disparate information.
Exactly. Then pattern sovereignty. This is about owning your timeline, not just reacting to events, but actively charting your course based on foresight.
Taking control.
And finally, predictive navigation. It's like having GPS for time. Knowing your position relative to emerging opportunities, potential threats, and navigating accordingly. And this combination leads to a really unique competitive moat. Something competitors find incredibly hard to copy. It really boils down to a fundamental difference in philosophy. What we call baby food versus real choice.
Baby food versus real choice. Okay, explain that.
Most traditional systems, predictive tools, they offer you baby food. They give you maybe 3 pre-digested options. They say they've simplified it for you.
Right, we've done the hard work.
Yeah, or trust our AI, but it's a black box. You don't know why those 3. It's often one size fits all. A bit paternalistic, frankly. We know best.
Yeah.
And in doing that, they lose all the important nuance. This approach, our world, offers meaningful choice. It shows you your entire possibility space. Maybe all 10,000 potential trajectories are visible.
Okay, that sounds potentially overwhelming, though.
You'd think so, but here's the kicker. You can zoom in anywhere, and it doesn't get blurrier, it gets sharper.
Sharper when you zoom in. That makes sense.
Right. And you can see the math. The underlying logic is transparent. You understand why patterns are emerging. You then choose your trajectory from effectively countless paths because you know your context best.
So it empowers the user rather than deciding for them.
Exactly. We just show what's possible and how it's unfolding. You're in the driver's seat.
That's really interesting. You said zooming in makes it sharper, but I've also heard about this killer insight, inverted resolution,
Right.
where the claim is when you zoom out, things also get sharper. That sounds counterintuitive. Normally, you zoom out, you lose detail, things get fuzzy. How does that work? Is it just clever visualization or?
It's a really crucial point, and it's not just visualization. It's grounded in the mathematics of how the information is structured. You're right. Normally, zooming out means blurrier. But with inverted resolution, as you zoom out, the overarching patterns and relationships actually become clearer, more defined. Well, without getting lost in the specific formula.
Yeah.
Something like category total to the power of dimension. Think of it like this. Traditional views are often flat, disconnected data points. This approach organizes information in multiple dimensions, almost like a fractal.
A fractal, like self-similar patterns at different scales.
Sort of, yeah. So as you zoom out conceptually through these organizational dimensions, you're not losing the detail itself. Instead, the connections and the emergent structure formed by those details become more apparent. The big picture gains clarity because of the underlying organization.
Wow. Okay. So instead of an AI just guessing your top three
All right,
priorities.
instead of that, this shows you maybe 10,000 possibilities, but they dynamically crystallize into your top three based on your context and the emergent patterns.
So you're really leaning into what most would call anti-patterns then. Industry says less is more, simplify, reduce cognitive load, make it easy.
Hmm.
And this approach says more is clearer, organize to transcend, amplify cognitive power, make it powerful.
Precisely. It's a kind of quiet usability revolution. It flies in the face of traditional UX wisdom. Hicks' law suggests more choices mean slower decisions. Miller's law talks about limits on immediate memory.
Yes, 7 plus or minus 2 thing.
Yeah. Conventional thinking says our approach should be unusable, but the reality we see is different. More organized choices can actually lead to faster navigation. Infinite items, potentially, but with perfect emergent structure. That can provide instant clarity. We call it total disclosure. It empowers your perception, doesn't overload it.
Which brings us to the demo that breaks brains. I've heard whispers about this. You start with one dot, your current situation. It explodes into, say, 10,000 dots, all possibilities.
Mm.
You watch them self-organize into patterns, and as you zoom out, the patterns get clearer.
That's the inverted resolution in action.
You pick a sector, zoom out again, and the options within that get clearer still, until your best path emerges, all in seconds.
Yep. About 30 seconds usually does it.
The typical reaction must be, that's impossible.
Pretty much. Or how? And the answer points back to that unique dimensional organization. It's patented technology. Philosophically, that's the core difference. Everyone else is focused on reduction. Simplify by removing things. This approach focuses on organization, mishandle complexity by revealing its inherent structure.
They think you need fewer choices.
We think you need better navigation. They're making, well, baby food decisions.
While this aims to provide adult tools for understanding.
Exactly, for shaping your own future.
And that creates what you called a beautiful trap for competitors. If they try to copy this timeline sovereignty idea,
They instantly undermine their own simplification message. They admit they were babysitting.
they likely don't have the math for inverted resolution.
Probably not. And they reveal they don't fundamentally trust users with the full picture.
So trying to copy it just validates this approach.
It kind of does, yeah. Ultimately, it represents an AI or data approach that truly trusts you with the truth. All the possibilities are there to see. The logic is transparent. The choices are yours. And the clarity emerges naturally from the structure. It's not just different, it's inverted, reversed. Seems impossible, but it's mathematically real.
Which leads to this rallying cry for people who adopt this. The future isn't unknown, it's unorganized. So practitioners aren't fortune tellers.
No, not at all.
They're pattern organizers, timeline cartographers, maybe even sovereignty dealers, empowering others.
And once someone has truly experienced this, making moves before things solidify, preventing problems, getting ahead of the competition, you just can't go back. It's irreversible, that feeling of agency.
From reactive to proactive.
Exactly. It stops being just a tool or a product. It
Yeah.
feels more like, well, a revolution in perspective. And revolutions need tribes, communities, not just users.
So let's put the ultimate test to you, the listener, right now. Would you rather just know your options or truly know your timing?
Good question.
If your gut reaction is timing, then you're probably ready for this kind of thinking, this tribe. If you get excited about having both options and timing, well, you're basically already family. And if your first thought is, okay, how soon can I start?
Then you're likely a leader in the making,
Yeah.
ready to guide others. And you'll start to recognize others who've had this shift. There's a kind of tribal recognition phrase, it sounds like. I saw it coming. I moved first. The pattern was always there.
Ah, that captures it.
When someone says that, they get it. Their
Wow.
tribe. When they honestly can't imagine operating the old reactive way anymore, that's family. And when they start bringing others along, showing them this perspective, those are the leaders.
We've covered some really profound ground today. That difference between just being informed and being truly ahead, actively shaping your timeline with precise pattern recognition.
Yeah, owning your future, not just reacting to it. It's a powerful shift. And maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. If clarity can literally increase when you zoom out on complexity, that whole idea of inverted resolution, what fundamental assumptions are you holding about learning, about decisions, about information overload? How might embracing this counterintuitive idea change how you approach your own future? What might become possible?